Got a couple of the stories that have caught my eye today.
Somebody who is contacted in future by Test and Trace or is pinged will be able to have daily contact testing for 7 days and able to carry on working provided their test remains negative.
Yeah, we've been looking at this all week, haven't we, at roughly the same time, and just following the thread of the Pingdemic. You've heard from the politicians. My goodness, you've heard from the politicians here. We like to talk to the real people and see how it affects. And this is the news that over 400 sites at the heart of the UK's food supply will be exempt from self-isolation if they get pinged. And this is about, I suppose the heart of it is restrictions disappearing, us going back to a form of normal life. But the app, of course, putting so many people into isolation that it's supermarket depots and food manufacturers trying to get stuff to the shelves. Now, this exemption does include those things, supermarket depots and food manufacturers, but not staff at supermarkets. It's being reported that businesses in 16 different industry sectors can also apply to be in the exemption list. So this isn't the full picture, but we have seen the government advice being sent. It's going to be very tough to get in that list. Let me read you this. In terms of applying for it, here's the line: major detrimental impact on the availability, integrity or delivery of essential services, including those services whose integrity, if compromised, could result in significant loss of life or casualties, taking into account significant economic or social impacts and or significant impact on national security, national defence or the functioning of the state. That seems to be what the change is applicable to. So immediately I think big business helped, small business maybe not so much. So let's test that theory and let's speak to Daniel, who's the Chief Product and Innovation Officer at Diamond Logistics in Surrey. Daniel, I think we spoke to your boss the other night. So it's good. We're working our way through the whole company. Thanks for joining me, Daniel.
No, thanks for having me on.
Thank you. And also a friend of the programme, Michelle, who runs the Hoop Pub in the village of Stock in Essex. Welcome back, Shell.
Welcome. Thank you for having me, Colin.
Go to you first, Daniel. You've got dozens of outlets across the UK. You have a network of delivering important things to important people, some of which is connected to the health industry. So I'm assuming you would be applying for this exemption.
Yeah, look, I don't think we've got a choice but to apply for it because, on the face of it, we wouldn't naturally kind of qualify for the emergency transportation, which is the very vague statement that they put out with reference to transportation. But like you said, we've got some key clients that are distributing PPE across the whole of the UK to, healthcare professionals up and down the country. And, we deem that to be still an essential needs across the whole of the UK.
What we viewed maybe 18 months ago as essential has changed. The whole definition of it has changed because of COVID, hasn't it?
It has, and that kind of creates a little bit of a problem kind of identifying whether we kind of fit into that criteria to qualify for not needing to isolate.
Well, you look at this guidelines that we're seeing tonight, and we expect the story to expand. Certainly, when we get more from sources from the government, we'll bring them to you on 5 Live. But it says, services whose integrity, if compromised, could result in loss of life or casualties. And I suppose if you're delivering PPE, that falls under that criteria. But as you say, it's certainly not black and white guidance, is it?
No, it's not. Because it makes up one very small part of our business. The main crux of our business is local e-commerce storage and delivery, and so it's not just PPE and goods for the NHS and goods to fight the pandemic. It's e-commerce products as well. So it kind of creates a little bit of a grey area for companies like ourselves.
Yeah. Let me bring Michelle in here. And we were talking last night to the owner of a fish and chip shop. Fish and chips and beer and, a wee dram. They don't really fall under this criteria, Michelle. Are you hearing anything that you think is helping you in any way?
Not at all. It's always, again, hospitality are always, I know we're seen as social and as a pleasure. We're not essential. I totally respect that. But it's just always getting absolutely battered with this whole pandemic for being closed and staff are losing money. We had to close business and there's no support there from the government whatsoever. And we've really been hit hard. And I just don't think people understand the stress that we're going through. And there's no financial support. And there's no chance that we're going to be seen as essential. But what is there for us? We just also need the support and help to carry on. So many businesses are going to struggle massively.
There are tens of thousands of pubs, there are tens of thousands of fish and chip shops, and there are hundreds of thousands of small businesses who face the same problem that you have, which is not this depth of staff. So as we open up and it goes ping, 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 you aren't able to draft in 2,000 workers like a supermarket can. So where does that put you when it comes to keeping the doors open of the Hoop?
We've had to close on numerous occasions. I have to beg staff, can they do extra shifts, change their commitments. But there's only so much we can do this for. And we lost 6 members of staff in 48 hours. We had to close for the football final. But equally, there's a knock-on effect. We can't get supplies because the delivery drivers are also getting pinged off. We can't get linen. It's just a constant battle for everything that we need. And like the pubs, it's like Freedom Day, everybody wants to come out, but it's lovely to come out. I don't have the staff there to be able to do that, and it's crazy to think it's being saying, right, off you go. But it's like, I can't do it. I've lost so many staff. And in the hospitality industry, it's a long day. It's all, you can't just say, can you stay a few more hours? It's, till late at night.
Just bring Daniel back in this. It's really interesting what we view as an essential service when we read through that criteria, because Daniel, when these restrictions were in place, we didn't have a problem with the supply line. We didn't have the problems with the amount of people getting pinged. So it's entirely predictable that it's going to happen. But more importantly, Daniel, that's the part of society we open back up. We open back up pubs and clubs and sporting events and shops. This is the economy. This is the part of the economy that's meant to be returning to normal, right?
Look, I guess that's the important thing. The importance of getting the economy back up and running again is obviously vital for this country. And so any way that can happen should be explored.
Michelle, I know what you said. You feel like hospitality gets kicked about because it's not viewed as essential. But again, this is where we pay platitudes to mental health and local community. But
families and money and wages.
Right, it can't be a platitude because you said it's not an essential service, and yes, I suppose by the dictionary definition, it's not.
It's not.
But the COVID has been to the detriment of social gathering, which is good for mental health, which is fantastic for mental health.
Pays people's wages.
People that maybe don't.
Paid. Yeah. We don't have the holiday mortgage anymore.
Yeah. Someone that doesn't have.
Bills to pay.
Yeah. Someone that doesn't have.
Sick pay when they're wiped out for 10 days. Families can't live on that. Businesses can't close. We take less money now than we did this time last year. Yeah. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah. And you just think, tomorrow, am I going to be open? I just need a few more staff to be pinged off, and we can't do it. We're closed Mondays. And that's also like, I have this fear that I've got that release date that I know, we're going to be closed, but you just don't know what tomorrow's going to bring.
Yeah, we will see. It may bring better news for you because obviously this is breaking news and it's still being digested, and a lot of it's come from this source and another source. I mean, Sky are reporting that 16 business sectors will be able to apply for exemptions. We haven't had that confirmed as yet, but this is what we're seeing at the moment. It needs endorsements from national leader or national manager. It's definitely a big business, big supply chain thing as it reads at the moment, but we will see how it develops, and then hopefully you'll you'll be in a better state next time I talk to you, Michelle.
Oh, absolutely. Hopefully, I'll be looking forward to welcome down to the pub for a
Listen,
pint.
I work for beer, just so you know. I work for beer.
Good.
So you must
One
dread.
day you'll get there.
You must dread every time you answer your phone in the pub and you hear High Five Live. Yeah. Oh God, not again. What's going to happen to me next?
I just want it to be a positive day when we're just talking about the pubs open and it's all gone. And do you remember that day?
It'll happen.
But just not negative Nancy's. And you know what pubs are like? You always got a negative Nancy in there whinging and moaning.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll get there.
We will get there. Fingers crossed.
Thank you for Michelle.
Tonight. Take
Pleasure.
care, Colin.
Thank you, Daniel. Much appreciated.
My pleasure.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So we've been following that story all week.